the shocking origin of board games more than just fun board games. They are so familiar, so ordinary, that we rarely pause to think about where they came from. A simple roll of the dice, the movement of a pawn across a square, or the strategic placement of a piece might seem like child-esque play today. But the story behind these games is anything but simple. Board games are ancient, complex, and deeply intertwined with the evolution of human civilization. They are not just entertainment, they are mirrors reflecting religion, politics, war, morality, and the human obsession with chance and strategy. To truly understand the games we play today, we must journey back thousands of years, to a world where each move could symbolize life, death, fate, and divine will. The oldest known board game is Sanut, dating back over 5,000 years to ancient Egypt. Archaeologists have found beautifully carved boards and tombs, complete with hieroglyphics, tiny pieces, and elaborate game layouts. But Sanut was far more than a pastime. It was a game of the afterlife, believed to represent the soul's journey through the underworld. Every move of a piece carried spiritual significance, with the ultimate goal of passing through challenges, avoiding traps, and reaching the final realm safely. Pharaohs, nobles, and priests alike played Sanut, not just for leisure, but as a ritual, practice in understanding the cosmic forces that governed existence. Winning the game was akin to mastering destiny itself. Across the river in Mesopotamia, the royal game of yore emerged around the same time. The Sumerians played on inlaid wooden boards, rolling dice to navigate pieces along intricate paths. While some of the symbolism has been lost, we know from cuneiform tablets that this was more than a casual game. It was tied to fate, divination, and social hierarchy. The movement of pieces mirrored the unpredictability of life, and even the simplest roll of the dice was a small encounter with fortune. In these early civilizations, games were not just entertainment, they were metaphors, tools, and teaching devices, a way to explore human experience in miniature form. Ancient China also contributed to the lineage of board games. The game of Go, dating back over 2,500 years, is deceptively simple in its rules, but endlessly complex in strategy. It's played with black and white stones on a grid. Go wasn't just a game, it was a reflection of philosophy, balance, and warfare. Each placement required foresight, patience, and intuition. Go became a spiritual exercise, a training for the mind and moral character, and it remains one of the most revered strategic games in the world. Unlike many Western games, chance played little role. Success relied entirely on skill, patience, and vision. At the same time in India, Chaturanga, the ancestor of modern chess, was taking shape. Chess's pieces were not random. They mirrored the armies of the Indian subcontinent: infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. Playing the game was a mental rehearsal for actual battles, a way for generals to practice strategy without bloodshed. Over centuries, Chaturanga evolved as it spread to Persia, becoming Shatranj, and eventually made its way to Europe, where it was refined into the chess we know today. Chess became a symbol of intelligence, social status, and power, often used to demonstrate sophistication in royal courts. Kings and queens moved their ivory or wooden pieces with care, knowing that each game mirrored the political struggles of their kingdoms. Board games were also tied to morality and life lessons. Mokshapatam, the precursor to snakes and ladders, originated in India as a way to teach children about virtues and vices. Ladders represented moral virtues, generosity, faith, and humility that would elevate the player, while snakes symbolized vices like greed and anger that could bring them down. This wasn't just a game. It was an allegorical tool for teaching societal values, morality, and the consequences of human behavior. When the game spread to England and later to the West, it lost much of its moral messaging and became a simple race to the finish. Yet even in its simplified form, the game preserved its original rhythm, the tension of climbing and falling, the thrill of chance and consequence. Dice, one of humanity's oldest gaming tools, also has a fascinating story. Early dice have been found in archaeological digs dating back over 5,000 years, carved from bone, stone, or ivory. They weren't merely used for amusement, they were instruments of divination, used to seek guidance from gods, make decisions, and even settle disputes. Rolling dice represented an encounter with fate, a tiny ritual that allowed humans to explore randomness and fortune in controlled ways. Today, when we roll a die in Monopoly or Risk, we are participating in a tradition that stretches back millennia ritualized negotiation with chance itself. The evolution of board games accelerated during the Middle Ages and Renaissance. European courts were fascinated with games that combined strategy and chance. Chess remained a favorite among nobility, while other games often brought back from travels to Asia or the Middle East gained popularity. Backgammon, for example, emerged from ancient Persia as a combination of luck and skill. Involving dice and strategic movement across the board, these games were often associated with gambling, social maneuvering, and intellectual prowess. Owning a fine board, crafted from ivory, wood, or inlaid stone, became a status symbol. Playing the game well reflected not just skill, but refinement and education. The 19th and early 20th centuries brought the rise of modern commercial board games, transforming play into mass entertainment. The famous game, The Landlord's Game, designed by Elizabeth Meiji in 1903, sought to teach the dangers of monopolies and inequality in property ownership. Yet when Parker Brothers adapted it into Monopoly in the 1930s, the lesson flipped. Monopoly rewarded ruthless strategy and accumulation of wealth, reflecting society's fascination with capitalism. The irony was palpable. A game meant to critique greed became an iconic symbol of competitive accumulation. Likewise, games like Scrabble emerged during the Great Depression. Designed by Alfred Butts to blend education, entertainment, and mental challenge. Butts calculated the frequency of letters in the English language to balance the game perfectly, ensuring that strategy, skill, and vocabulary all mattered. Board games like Clue and Candyland show another side of history: escapism. A Clue invented during World War II allowed players to solve murder mysteries safely at home, offering thrill without danger. Candyland, created to entertain children recovering from polio, provided color, distraction, and hope in times of confinement and fear. The story of these games demonstrates that board games have often been more than leisure. They've been tools for coping, learning, and imagining worlds beyond the mundane. One of the most fascinating aspects of board games is how universal they are. Across cultures and centuries, humans have created similar games independently, reflecting shared cognitive instincts. Humans love strategy, the thrill of chance, and the narrative arcs that games can simulate. Whether it's the ancient Egyptians moving pieces along a spiritual path, Sumerians racing across boards of fate, or modern players striving to bankrupt their friends, the core appeal remains the same. Board games let us explore conflict, choice, luck, and skill safely. Yet board games have also been cultural artifacts, reflecting societal anxieties, moral lessons, and even power structures. In certain periods, games were banned or heavily regulated because of their association with gambling, idleness, or moral corruption. In other eras, they were celebrated in royal courts and used as educational tools to train young minds in strategy, probability, and reasoning. Each board, each set of pieces, each roll of the dice carries echoes of history, philosophy, and human aspiration. Even the materials and designs of boards tell a story. Ancient games were often handmade, crafted with exquisite skill from ivory, stone, wood, or clay. Medieval boards might have been carved with symbolic patterns, inscriptions, or inlays that reflected cultural values. Modern mass-produced boards, made of cardboard and plastic, seem mundane, but they carry the DNA of these ancient forms. Every color, shape, and design choice has a lineage tracing back thousands of years, a silent testimony to human creativity and ingenuity. Board games also reveal the deep human desire to simulate life. Games like chess replicate battlefield strategy. Snakes and ladders mirror moral consequences. Monopoly echoes economic competition. Go reflects balance, patience, and foresight. Every roll, every move, every decision is a miniature rehearsal for the broader challenges of existence. When we play, we're not just seeking fun, we're exploring cause and effect, risk and reward, cooperation and competition. Today, board games are undergoing yet another renaissance. From Kickstarter projects bringing indie games to life, to complex strategy epics like Twilight Imperium, the art and science of game design continue to evolve. The digital age has even allowed classic board games to thrive online, connecting players across continents, preserving ancient designs while creating new forms of social interaction. Despite technological change, the fundamental appeal of board games remains unchanged. They are mirrors of human ingenuity, curiosity, and the timeless dance between luck and skill. So next time you roll the dice, move a pawn, or flip a card, remember, you are participating in a tradition that spans 5,000 years. You are touching a history that connects pharaohs, Sumerian priests, Indian generals, medieval kings, and modern inventors. Board games are more than just fun. They are reflections of culture, mirrors of society, and miniature simulations of life itself. They are our ancestors whispering through time, reminding us that while rules and pieces may change, the human desire to play, learn, and challenge ourselves has always been part of who we are.